Welcome to WYCE's Community Closeup, our weekly public affairs program, produced in partnership with the Grand Rapids Community Media Center. And of course, we are here at the Grand Rapids Community Media Center in the GRTV studios. Community Closeup brings you diverse perspectives from community leaders throughout West Michigan. This is WYCE station manager Phil Tower. It's my pleasure to be in studio with Tyler Loftus, director of ArtPrize, also Coleman Brook, Deputy Director of ArtPrize. Coleman is immediately to my, well, as you're looking at this camera setup, is that left or right, Will? I got to figure that out. He's on my left. Tyler is on my right. Guys, welcome to WYC's Community Closeup.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Brand new ArtPrize Director. Tyler, you're a Grand Rapids native, but you're a big city guy. You're splitting your time between New York and Grand Rapids, right?
I am.
Yeah. That's an interesting existence. You're a professional painter. Talk a little bit about your journey to this role as executive director of ArtPrize.
Well, boy, how much time do we have?
Well, about 14 minutes and 3 seconds. No.
All right. Well, it's basically, to some degree, sort of my life story because I grew up here. I'm an artist. That's all I've ever done. Went to art school in New York for 7 years right after high school and have had some success there. Well, I'm still there, which in New York terms is success. So that's been great. And along the way, I've been coming back and helping out ArtPrize. So just because it's something I love to do, and was on the board the last 2 years, and then the opportunity opened up to direct it. And it's a huge honor. It's very humbling to be a part of the people that have come before, and really excited about it.
Do you remember the first thing you drew where maybe your parents or a teacher went, wow, this is pretty good?
Well, no, because I was so intense. My parents, rather than being awed, they were more concerned how obsessive I was from the very beginning.
I love it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been an intense ride, and the older I get, the more fun it gets. Yeah. I'll tell you that, because it's not easy being born in a place that doesn't have a lot of, connectivity to support doing art as a profession.
Yeah.
And as I sort of grow more into it and I'm able to give other people more opportunities to do that, that's super fulfilling. And that's kind of a full circle thing, really.
Yeah. And it is something we've learned to celebrate a lot more, thanks to the start of ArtPrize several years ago. Let's talk about ArtPrize. People may have a vision of it, but for 2026, give us the elevator pitch, if you will, and Coleman, you can jump in along with Tyler. ArtPrize 2026, fill in the blank.
Yeah, so a few exciting additions, some of which are just revivals of things ArtPrize did in the past. For example, we are bringing back Preview Week, which expands ArtPrize's calendar footprint to 4 weekends. Using that longer timeline, we're trying to bring in some additional art forms. So each weekend this year will actually have its own unique theme. So the first weekend, beginning of Preview Week, will be dance. The second weekend will be music, which is the kickoff of the actual competition. The third weekend will elevate the visual arts as a whole, and the final weekend for the award ceremony and conclusion of the competition will be fashion.
Talk about those 4 weekends. Why was it important to set those up?
So we think ArtPrize has been an amazing platform for painters, sculptors, 3D. It's kind of grown to include a few different elements in the competition itself, but it hasn't always traditionally elevated some of these other art forms that kind of make an event like this possible, particularly some institutions that Grand Rapids has that you just can't find anywhere else in a city our size. So we think it's important to elevate all art forms, but particularly Grand Rapids as a city, and really communicate to the public that ArtPrize could only happen in Grand Rapids. It didn't just happen in Grand Rapids. It happened because Grand Rapids is this unique and special place that has the only private ballet company in the state of Michigan. We're not even the largest city, but we're the only one that has one of those. We have the opera, we have Broadway. It's an amazing place, and the arts here are on a level of a city much larger than what Grand Rapids is.
Yeah, and we have sculpture kind of and a higher percentage than a lot of cities like this would have. Of course, the centerpiece being La Grande Vitesse, the Alexander Calder sculpture
Absolutely.
in downtown Grand Rapids. A lot of things. I mean, Tyler, what's your take on it in terms of people looking at it, Grand Rapids and art?
Well, boy, again, how long do we have? But I will say one thing that's really cool that kind of goes to our roots as an art place. The Calder is there because of a president that was born here, Gerald R. Ford, and he was responsible for getting a lot of art out into this country. So, again, a very cool story that a lot of Grand Rapidians don't even fully realize. So, yeah, not only is it a beautiful sculpture, but the history of how it came here is an incredible story that would be a whole other sit-down conversation.
Yeah.
It was one of the first, it was the first public sculpture partly funded by the National Endowment for the Arts.
Yeah, I remember
So it kind
that.
of kicked off, a broader program nationwide to try to bring art to the populace. And Grand Rapids definitely takes that in stride. We put it on our garbage trucks. It's the logo of the city. It's tied very deeply to our identity as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is certainly iconic. I want to talk about ArtPrize and accessibility. It's really a foundational piece of ArtPrize that from the beginning, art was accessible to people. And talk about your vision for that, Tyler.
Well, I mean, ArtPrize, whether it was the intention or not, it showcases one of the most magical things about being American and America as a whole. And that's that in very small spaces, you can have lots of different opinions, lots of different expressions. And there's nothing more clear and I would say simpler way to see that than through art. In ArtPrize, it's not only a bunch of eclectic, interesting pieces of art, it's a bunch of different voices from a bunch of different people. And then you have a bunch of different people coming in and experiencing those different voices. So that in itself, I think is an extraordinarily American thing and an extraordinarily special thing and an extraordinarily open thing.
Yeah, and it's a very personal thing.
Absolutely. Again, how long do we have to talk about that? So many of these things, there's so much to say because it's just so amazing. There's so many ways you can go with ArtPrize.
Yeah. I remember the first time just kind of getting my head around artists who were there with their ArtPrize exhibitions talking about it, just kind of hanging with people. That blew my mind. At the same time, I was like, this is so great. And it's for people who didn't experience that, and especially if you haven't been to ArtPrize in a number of years, this is a great time to come back to downtown Grand Rapids. There's just so much to talk about. We talked about the preview week, which, by the way, Tyler Loftus, Coleman Brook with us. Tyler's, of course, executive director for ArtPrize. Coleman is deputy director. And everything that we talk about is at artprize.org. Talk about preview week, if you would, guys. What will people want to be on the lookout for? That starts September 12th.
So it's an excellent opportunity for Grand Rapidians to kind of see some of these amazing installations before crowds descend on our city. And really, it's an opportunity for us to welcome the world to the amazing place that is Grand Rapids and kind of get ready for that together.
There are 1,100 artists, a lot of art installations. We're here, and this conversation is running on the radio and on GRTV in mid-August. Where do things typically stand about this point, about a month out? It's beginning to take shape. But this really has gone back many, many months. There's a lot of planning. Coordinating that all, 1,100 artists. Can you talk about that?
Well, I mean, you already start to feel the electric quality of having those art and artists in our community because they already start to come site plan and come drop off pieces, come work with venues. But again, I mean, Grand Rapids is the star of the show, like Coleman said. How many other places would accept all of this happening? All these different art forms. You know, you have everything from gigantic, experiential things to the smallest, little quietest, most intimate pieces, and it all works together. You can have someone's first show and potentially someone's last show. You know, a real legacy artist that wants to get out in front of 100,000 Americans rather than be in a little gallery in a New York or in LA and have 1,000 people maybe see their stuff. So it's a celebration of art. in total, and just leading up to it, you start to feel the city come alive. And I love that. And that's why we brought back preview week. So as a community, we can kind of get ready for it together, because Grand Rapids is really special. As Coleman said, it's not a place that this stuff just happened to happen. There's a precedent for it that maybe we don't put enough emphasis on, but the arts here are strong and have been for a long time. And we just want to uplift that, and we want to represent that, and we want to speak on that as much as possible.
Yeah. And let's talk about the competition. There is a public vote. There's a jury vote. Pretty much everything the same as in the past, or what should our listeners know about in terms of any differences or changes?
Well, the changes, as Coleman said, are incorporating in a lot more meaningful, intentional way our other arts orgs to create sort of a safe space for all the fine arts to be experienced. But as far as the technical aspect of ArtPrize, no changes at all. As a matter of fact, that's what we're sort of bringing as a stability, because over the last 15 seasons, because it's so unprecedented, they kept trying to innovate and trying to figure out the right recipe. I feel like we finally discovered that, and it's time to recreate that every year while we add these extra things around it.
And Coleman, there are, I'm sure, videos on YouTube where you can do the Magic Kingdom in a day, and somebody shows you how to do that. But ArtPrize, I don't know where I pulled that out of my head. ArtPrize, you really can't do in a day. I mean, it's so big, and there's so much to see. You got to really be a little bit strategic about it, right?
Yes, and we're being a lot more intentional this year in terms of wayfinding and communicating to visitors and people who aren't as familiar with our city how to see the most amount of art they can in the given amount of time they have.
By the way, are you going to have the ambassadors around helping people?
Yes,
Okay.
there will be people walking around with ArtPrize T-shirts, volunteers, some of our staff members. If you see me on the street, feel free to bug me. Just don't ask me if ArtPrize is every year, because it's every year.
Where's the art, Coleman? where is the art? What else should people know this year, guys, especially in terms of maybe some special locations? I know the West Side is involved this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Our clubhouse will be over on the West Side. Shout out Swift Printing for always being a legacy partner. They're helping us out with that space. It's going to be incredible. I did want to have another shout out, though, speaking back to your last point, to Mobile GR. They're going to be helping us with parking and wayfinding, and they're an extraordinary part of the city government here that helps out a lot more, and they're more of a resource that I feel like a lot more of us should use to sort of understand and get around with the new amphitheater and the new things going on. So there's going to be more tools out there for people to come down and visit.
We just had a conversation with Max and the folks at Mobile GR a couple of weeks ago on this program, and I want to totally underscore everything you said. They are a tremendous resource that if you're coming downtown GR, you need to take advantage of that. There are far too many people who have been working in downtown Grand Rapids for 25 years. It's really 26 years, actually. It's really hard to believe that there are still people who have these unrealistic phobias about coming downtown. Mm-hmm. It's a great downtown. It's a very accessible downtown, and parking is accessible. You just got to use the tools that are there. So I'm really glad you said that, Tyler. Mm-hmm. Tyler Loftus, Executive Director of ArtPrize with us. Also Coleman Brook, Deputy Director, ArtPrize. Everything we've discussed and a lot more. It's just a really great website, artprize.org. Again, artprize.org. Guys, I've got about a minute or so left. What didn't I ask you wanted to share with our WYCE listeners?
Our award ceremony will be at the Acrisure Amphitheater. Speaking of, it will be our largest celebration finale to date, and we're very excited to be able to offer that opportunity to locals and people from out of town. World-class venue, and we have some special surprises in store there.
And it's free.
It's free. How will people attend that? You're going to have tickets and a link through the ArtPrize website. What's your plan on that?
We're working with the amphitheater.
Okay.
To figure out, but just show up and you'll be welcomed.
Yeah, it's a great venue, and this will be very special for a finale. Guys, thank you so much. I want to congratulate you. I just have really good feelings knowing the two of you are involved. I know you have great people you've assembled on your team, and congratulations. Let's make this a fantastic year of ArtPrize.
Thank you. Thank you. Art,
Thank you.
Art is for everyone, and this is Art City, USA.
Yeah.
And ArtPrize is every year.
Yeah. And if you got that, again, as Coleman said,
I got to make sure it gets out there.
Is every year. Thanks again, Tyler Loftus, Director of ArtPrize, Coleman Brook, Co-Director of ArtPrize, for joining us on WYCE's Community Close-Up again. It's September 12th through October 3rd. This is WYCE's Community Close-Up, our weekly public affairs program, produced right here in the GRTV studios at the Grand Rapids Community Media Center. I'm Phil Tower. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Phil.